The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to the Senior Show. Co-hosts Neil Himmelstein and Tim Kennedy. And we are two wild and aging guys.
Neil, awesome. Another great week. I love it.
I know. Beautiful. The weather's been beautiful last week. And, I think summer's finally coming, and it's a good thing, huh?
I got to tell you something, Neil. I was listening to your show on Friday, and you had the great Andrea Owen-Boyd on the call.
Yep.
And guess who we have today?
We got her back.
You are a very, very busy woman. How do you do that?
I just keep going. I get up in the morning and I walk.
Yep, that's a nice thing. We talked about that last week about we had a brain person, what is she?
Yes, Olga.
A brain coach. Yes. And we talked about the importance in aging, in exercising the brain. And part of it was, and I listened to her very intently because it's something I used to do and I started doing it again, is I walk every morning, except for this morning. I'll sign up. But I've been walking every morning, and it clears my brain up. It gets my endorphins going, and it helps us in the aging process. And, as seniors, that's something, keeping our brain fresh, very important.
Hey, Andrea, why don't you take a second and just remind everybody what you do and where you're from?
So I'm a financial planner. So it's Andrea Owen-Boyd. And I'm from that beautiful island of Jamaica. And I just want people to know that I help women to build, protect, and preserve their wealth. And they're excited about that. On the weekend, I did the Woman, Wisdom, and Wealth series. And awesome. It was so fantastic.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about that. That's a great series you're doing.
Yes, it is. And it took a while to put it together, but it's something that I've been doing forever. I've been working. My mom was a nurse. I talk about that all the time. And she was always good with money. And I was able to go to college, finish high school, have fun. I never had to be worrying. And it gave me confidence to just do well.
Great.
And so I said I wanted to be in a business where I'm helping women to have that same level of confidence. And here am I.
That's fantastic. You have siblings as well?
So, no.
No. Okay. And
Andrea, it wasn't a trick question.
No. You know why I said no? So it was like a two families. So my dad had children that I wasn't raised with, and I was the only child for my mom. So she was so focused on me. So, and I have lots and lots of friends.
Awesome.
Great
so
stuff.
A single mom, basically.
No, she wasn't a single mom. I had a stepdad.
Okay.
So she was allowed to run things with her daughter.
Okay.
She knew how she wanted to nurture me, how she wanted me to focus on being a good person in her eyes and managing money and so on. So
well, you tell your mom she did a fabulous
job. So Andrea, I always love having financial people like yourselves on the show because we almost talk, the three of us, we all talk the same language.
Yeah.
Right? And it's all about preparing and planning, being prepared for change, good, bad, or indifferent, but longevity, liquidity, lifestyle, legacy, and long-term care. We kind of touch all those bases, even though we're in three totally different industries, right? We speak the same language on helping people plan for more safe and secure retirement. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So Andrea and I are very similar.
More similar than me. You go.
Yes.
I'm a unique breed.
Yeah. Well, Tim has taught me over the years, if you have a house, it's usually the biggest asset for most people. And people look at that as, the old rule was pay off your house, go on Social Security, maybe have some retirement, and that's it, you're done.
And leave the house to the kids. Right?
Yeah.
Right, that was their legacy, right? But the truth of the matter is, the equity in that home is an illiquid asset. And for most of us out there, 70% of our net worth is tied up in the equity of the home. And why aren't we using that equity as part of the retirement income plan? Change that model, turn that model around a little bit. And the truth of the matter is, right, Neil, you say it all the time. For the most part, the kids don't want the house. They want the money.
Right.
So let's protect and preserve what you do, the money in bucket 2, right? There's stocks, bonds, IRAs, 401ks, all that other group of monies in their bucket 2, the retirement portfolio. And let's use the equity in the home, and if we manage this correctly in retirement, they could actually leave a bigger legacy to their children with the use of a reverse mortgage, a.k.a. the home equity conversion mortgage.
Right.
And this is why it's so good to be in the association, because you collaborate with so many different experts, and just hearing you advocate for reverse mortgage, how it works, it gives me an opportunity to speak more to my clients, to say,
of course,
here is another opportunity.
It's another tool in your toolbox to increase the potential of their money lasting longer in retirement.
Right. And what I also bring to the table, which is like culturally different, where is that traditionally the idea is, oh no, you don't sell your house, you leave it forever. And so when you're aware that this is the culture, this is the thought process, then you are gentler, in the conversation, that before we share, okay, this is how it works, we have to cross the culture barrier, understand.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people are very sensitive. It's funny because where I see a lot of advisors fail is people have an emotional attachment.
Yes.
Not just to their house. They may have an emotional attachment to a stock. And a new guy will come in and say, oh, no, not that stock, this stock. And they piss people off because maybe they worked for that company. Maybe they have a feeling that it doesn't matter whether that stock really goes up or down that much. This was their stock. This is their thing. And people need to be cognizant of the fact that people have an emotional attachment to their things and the people they work with when it's done right. I'm working with a woman today, a listener. Actually, I'm going to see her later today, and we saw her last week. And this is a typical situation. She called me because she heard on the air I talked about she had an old life insurance policy, and we talked about, well, now her needs are long-term care. Mm-hmm. So she actually spoke to an advisor before me, but the person managed her stocks and bonds, and they said, well, take this money from your life insurance policy and convert it into a long-term care policy. And you know what? That's what I said on the radio. However, in her situation, this policy is paid for. It's all good. She's worried about her estate in general. And I said, no. That policy's paid up. Put that in a trust. We took the policy out of her estate, which was going to be taxable in her estate, and now we reduced her estate by that policy, and now let's look at your retirement assets, which are toxic to the children, because they have to take that money over 10 years, and let's look at using those assets to fund your long-term care program. So it's not a matter of, there's parts of everything that we do that somebody can take literally and say, oh yeah, that's the right way to do things. Right. And we talked about this on my show. You really need to look at the whole picture, because everybody has different needs and different wants and everything else. And she was so happy because, and I know she's listening, but I hope she doesn't take this personally. She was so happy because I'm not taking away something that was paid for, that was hers. Yes. Where the advisor originally said it was the easiest thing to do. Let's take the money out of there and put it over there, and okay, you're done. But she's not. And it's not enough. It's not the right thing for her.
Yep, sure.
For other people, it could be the perfect solution.
Well, each scenario is different, right? And that's why we're here.
Right.
And people need to understand that. So even though they hear ABC, right, it may not be your ABC, right? So it's got to be, each scenario has to be looked at differently and through qualified professionals.
Yes. Right. And this is why we like the collaborative approach of utilizing different people within our network that we've built And I love that Andrew's in our network.
Yeah, yeah.
Tim and I have been in the network for a long time, and that's why we decided to do a show together, because we do this back and forth all the time.
Hey, Neil, you mind if I give a plug for our event this week, Wednesday night at Catfish?
Sure, go ahead.
What time's it, 5:30?
At Fatfish, not Catfish.
Fatfish, 5:30 on Wednesday in Bayshore. Come on down. The LIFPN is sponsoring an event. So if you're interested in coming down, meeting Neil, myself, and Andrea, come on down.
Give us a call. Yeah, give us a call first, and make sure you make a reservation.
Yeah.
And, wow, we're running out of time, Tim.
There we go.
We're getting ready for break.
So,
Andrea, how can people get a hold of you?
The number is 347-229-6633.
And my name is Tim Kennedy, your certified reverse mortgage professional, and you can reach me at 516-729-6040. And if you're interested in coming to the Fat Fish event, call me at 516-729-6040. Neil?
And this is Neil Himmelstein. I also have the Main Street Code for Financial Success, as well as owner of Main Street Planning Group. My number is 631-647-4694, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Senior Show with two wild and aging guys. I'm Neil, and that's Tim.
Tim Kennedy here, and I am your certified reverse mortgage professional. I'm one of maybe 200 in the entire country. And Neil, my co-host.
Neil Himmelstein and Main Street Planning Group and the Main Street Code for Financial Success. And we're here with Andrea Owen-Boyd.
Yes.
Andrea,
a phenomenal guest, by the way.
Phenomenal. Andrea started a series, and I think there's another one coming up on June 6th. Are we in June already?
We are. We missed that. We missed that episode, Neil.
Oh my God. We did. We missed June 6th. Do you have another one coming?
Yes, in September, and I'll have the date ready.
Oh, okay.
And that's Woman, Wisdom, and Wealth series?
It's the Woman, Wisdom, and Wealth series, and I'm so excited about this, because I've been working with women for decades and realized that they wanted to feel confident where they're in a space that they have access to information, professionals, where we can talk about investment strategies, how to build, protect, and preserve your wealth in a space that make you confident and have clarity. So it's funny that this first event was held at my church, Grace United Methodist Church in Valley Stream. Right. Because I've been a member of that church for over 16 years, been in that denomination from I was born, but I never shared within the congregation what I do professionally.
Right.
And I realized that was doing a disservice to the women in the church and disservice to people who I love so dearly.
Andrea, you ever hear the expression, a business with no sign is a sign of no business? Of course. You need to tell people what you do for a living, because what you do well, and you help people. You change people's lives.
Yes.
You know, it's upsetting, because I know when I started in the business, I didn't want to say, oh yeah, I sell life insurance. I was like, I didn't want to be that guy.
Well, because in those industries and in those professions, when you go to those training classes, you're always taught you go after your friends and family first.
Right.
Right. And so you probably didn't want to do that, right?
No, I didn't want to do that. I felt uncomfortable. But what really upset me was I had this friend's father, my daughter's friend, her father died at a young age. And we're at the funeral, and we leave with my wife. My wife goes, she was very upset. She was very upset. I go, what are you so upset about? She says, because he left his family in a really bad state. And I internalized that. And I said to myself, I'm really upset at me, because I never talked to him about what I did. And I could have protected him. Yeah. I could have protected that family.
Yeah.
And I felt like, shame on me for not telling them who I am and what I do, because this would not have happened.
Yes.
So I felt guilty my whole career about that one situation, because I didn't talk about what I do. And I saw the devastation. So it may seem solicitous or whatever, but it's so important that people understand that
You don't keep yourself a secret.
you don't. What we do for a profession is not what it used to be thought of.
Well, growing up, for example, my dad worked. My dad worked 2 jobs, and my mom stayed home and raised 5 kids. So I mean, when we were grown and in high school, she went back to work, but for the most part, the women weren't the professionals in the home. Right. Now I'm in a home where my wife is a professional, and I have 2 daughters that are on that track as well, and it's important that they know financial responsibility. I nag them both. Did you sign up for your 401k? Did you maximize your 401k? And having these conversations on where your money's at, where is it going, what are you doing with it? Because they need to be individually financially prepared.
And I've heard that women make better not heard. I grew up with a woman who was running the whole household financially, so I understand that, and that's why I'm doing this program, to have women have the confidence, have the clarity, and not just the conversation, but actually showing them, having the workshop that, who knows, in a little while they'll come home and they'll be asking you questions.
Right? Yeah. So you're going to have a next show in September, both you and Sharon Hoskins?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Awesome. That's a great team.
That's a great team. And we'll have accountants, we'll have a psychiatrist, and we're in a situation now where mental health is so important.
Oh my goodness.
And there's something that many people, like when I'm in business and we have some younger people and they want to take out life insurance, when you ask about changes in the industry, now you have people writing, I was depressed, I had to take this medication, I felt suicidal, and sometimes
it's more and more. Mm-hmm. Do you realize that over 50%, now like 51, 52% of all long-term care claims are due to mental or cognitive issues? That is a staggering number. The industry never, ever prepared for that, because these illnesses and situations which occur to us, not the physical, the mental, occur so often and can last, Alzheimer's can last 14 years of decline. So the devastation that can be financially to a family and emotionally to a family is devastating, which is why we talk about long-term care all the time, because, the statistics are staggering.
I talk to people all the time, and what's unbelievable you don't realize is the caretaker. Right, so not only does the caretaker get most of the, emotional, physical, and financial abuse, but a lot of them have to quit their jobs or take time off from their jobs to care for the patient.
The
right?
patient.
Yeah.
And what we don't think of, that it's a generational problem that we create, because when you're not adequately cared for, then your children, you shortchange them because you're busy taking care of your spouse or your ailing mom.
No, the caregivers.
Yeah.
So
no, it trickles down.
And I give you a quick story. Even before I came into this business, I knew of a very successful businessman, but he worked as a manager for a big firm, and he passed away. But he had not prepared at all. And his wife, she was the one who was the caregiver, took care of the kids, but she had no knowledge about business or income. And I watched those 3 beautiful daughters who were looking forward to college, a beautiful life, everything. I watched everything just fall apart when Dad died. And they were taken advantage of. And then they had children, and the children that they had, which would be this man's grandchildren, they lived a life of poverty and being underserved, as opposed to a beautiful life that he had planned.
That could have been planned,
and
sure.
It was so heartbreaking.
It's devastating.
So I have to be in this business to just share with people that if we just make a good plan, and not just a plan, work with a great advisor who is
Absolutely.
interested in your life, in your family, in your
Exactly.
grandkids.
Great point.
So, yes.
Yeah. And generationally, right? And passing it on.
And
Yes,
passing it on.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. But getting back to long-term care, people don't realize the impact on multiple generations. Even if you're wealthy, you need protection because you don't realize the cost today. Staggering. $500 a day is not uncommon. It's more common than not. And no one expected this, and it's quite a reality.
Well, Neil, that's why for years now I've been promoting my 5 L's, right? Longevity, liquidity, lifestyle, legacy,
Right.
long-term care. If you have any questions or concerns, give me a call. Tim Kennedy, 516-729-6040.
And we're running
Andrea,
out of time.
how can they reach you?
And it's 347-229-6633, the creator of Woman, Wisdom, and Wealth series.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Congratulations. And Neil?
Neil Himmelstein, 631-647-4694. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the weather.
And Neil, who are we?
We're
We're two wild and aging guys.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.